So welcome back, guys, and from a ZVZ, we go into a TBT instead. This time, it's gonna be from some members again from the community. I've seen these guys quite active in the Discord, and it's gonna be interesting because TBT is something we don't see too much on this day and age. It's eXoGLG versus Viole, and I love this here. It's kind of similar to the previous matchup. We have our veteran, we have our kind of relatively newer player, and it just feels that it's really all about that experience versus potential matchup that happens every single time. Like, sure, we see some of the experienced players really bring out some of their old school tactics to surprise their opponent, but then suddenly, you see the current wave actually look to surprise, look to destroy, and this might be a matchup where something will be amiss. It is a best of 3 yet again, though. First of 2 gonna be taking it, and of course, our first map is gonna be similar to our previous matchup, and it will be Eternal Empire LE. Everyone loves Eternal Empire. That's pretty much the thing. Eternal Empire is a very, very easy map to basically understand. It's pretty simple. You have your ramps, you have a lot of distance from your opponent, so you can actually go for a macro-based kind of setup. And it's been in the ladder for quite a while, so you have no real excuse unless you literally just started playing the game recently. So Eternal Empire is something people are comfortable on. It really feels that this is a map that it's very, very home to many, similar to Everdream LE, but Eternal Empire has been longer and it is a little bigger. It feels a little bigger in that sense. But you know what else is big? The Quarantine Tournament number 5, because of our sponsors, Pure PC and Block 101. This is presented to you by DLS Missile, Daks PH, and Ice Boy Productions. And don't forget, guys, for Gold to Diamond, it is an additional Gold to Diamond prize courtesy of Pure PC. It is the Fantech K613 Fighter TKL2 keyboard. So there you go. There's just so many things up for grabs there. Bigger prize pot, though, for the side of Master Plus. So everyone is a winner no matter what. And it really is just all about trying to figure out what kind of player you are, where you belong, and where you can get even better. But now, it's time to get into the better half of this broadcast. Let's get into our game. This is game number 1 between GLG and Viole. Let's get into this matchup. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's Terran time. It is the tea time into this game, and this time is a TVT, as we say, on Eternal Empire. Introducing first, but a great name in game, but you can know him as Gleg, you can know him as GLG. It is Exos on Anak ni Bakuko, or we'll call him GLG for the whole thing. We'll try to figure it out. I'll probably swap between the two because of that in-game name, and I love it already. It's very, very homely. Anak ni Bakuko. Who is Bakuko? That's the real question there. But GLG looking to impress yet again. He has some strong showings here and there. I saw him a while back in the SEAL. And it really does feel like the EXO clan going strong yet again. Team Exuberant looking to just bring back the glory days of StarCraft 2. And without them, without their community, without their support, this wouldn't be possible as well in a way. So it really goes to show every little bit counts, every player matters, and every time you join a tournament, it just makes it even better for our community. But on the top right, on the cyan, I believe, I'm not too good with my colors, I'll call him blue. On the blue, it's Saren here. Even though his name is a little bit different from his color, it just goes to show that he can bring in a surprise factor here. It is our blue Saren on the top right. It is Viole. Viole Violets? Violets without the T. Maybe he can be violent as well. All about those wordplays, all about those puns, and all about this Reaper right now here for both of our Terrans. GLG looking to hamper though this immediate scout here from Viole. How do you even pronounce it? I'm trying to figure out. Viole? I'll just call it Viole, right? I think Viole is the easiest way to go about things. And it's time for the SCVs to do their work. So here for GLG, looking to at the very least go for earlier aggression. He's getting a 1 base factory here. On the other side, Viole can be going to set up that natural. With supply depots online here, he's looking to, at the very least, set up his usual wall on in. At least put the door in front of anyone else coming his way. And for now, it's another quiet start to the Gold to Diamond bracket. So it's pretty interesting. We haven't seen anything crazy so far. It's been a lot of respect for both sides. They're making sure at the very least they can get the setup that they want. But these Reapers right now dueling. And Cluster Bombs thrown on down to the ground, getting absolutely nothing. Viole, though, in the meantime, setting up this bunker here, looking to play defensive. He knows that at the very least his opponent isn't on a natural state as of yet. So he should be having to fortify his defenses, make sure that he will have enough to defend any kind of setup. In terms of positioning, I already like it. He has supply depots in the way just in case Hellions do run on in, if he can get the lift up in time. And this one bunker loaded with, of course, Marines, going to be effective to stop any kind of push in the early game. For now, though, here we go with the Hellion. At least, this Hot Wheels is trying to find a little bit of burn or two. Since we see GLG staying on to the one base setup so far, he does need to equalize the gap here in a way onto the worker count by burning a few of those SCVs to an absolute crisp. It's already a hard suit to be in. For some reason, Viole actually not going to have anything inside that bunker because we see GLG harassing that middle line so far. He has 2 of these Hellions, 2 of these Reapers as well. Make that 3 so far. And this is very cheesy here from GLG. This is pretty much some early aggression. You can even consider it as potential all-in if he keeps building more and more of these Reapers for now. But it seems like harassment is in his order so far. And he has to make some damage happen if he wants to stay in this fight. So far, he's got a few SCPs here and there. But these Reapers are falling in the field battle. And at the same time, these Hellions are just on the low ground right now, trying to wait for someone to get baited on. And the Reapers finally do fall. GLG, though, needs to maximize his Hellion value, and going to the middle like this is a lot better. But a Cyclone right now gonna be on the defensive. When you have a fast car like this, the only way to get in the way is Twisted Metal with the Cyclone there. And Nakni Bakuko having to run on away. Not the most effective harass there, in all honesty. Like, Viole defending that one pretty well. It seems like for GLG, he gets caught out with those Reapers in a position where the Marines could shoot them, and the Hellion's not really doing anything along the way. So far, so good here for our economy-focused Terran. I like what Viole has been doing so far, but in the meantime, GLG will take this opportunity to get the mixed match candy corner set up here to have all the random units that he needs. And a TVT before you kind of decide on a build. And in any TVX anyway, like TVP, TVZ, you can do this. You can have tech labs onto things like the factory, onto things like the starport, get a Raven, get a Cyclone, get a Siege Tank, something to defend along the way, and then when you're good to go with your economy, build your racks, get your tech labs on, get them an engineering base, and timing attack by the 7 to 9 minute mark, right? That's pretty much where you want to go for that +1/+1 offensive. So in any case, it's all about Nakni Bakuko setting up his defenses. And I'm just waiting for the transition here from both sides. It seems like, though, they both understand how to play their builds, how to play things out, and they're getting the same kind of unit. So it's similar to the ZVZ we have seen so far. Interesting enough, though, Viole, since he had that second base up and running, he goes for the call down supply. So he has to be careful with his supply here. You know that you're kind of rusty with your build order in a way. If you're not timing your supply depots right, and even though you have that concept, it's all about execution. And right now, Viole understands that he has to build more supply depots because he's lagging behind. We see GLG, though, doing a better job there, and you know, these few precious seconds can make a difference in StarCraft 2. And in the case, though, Terran gonna be down on the ground. You see GLG finally setting up the scary force that has defined the meta of Terran for quite a few weeks already, maybe even months already in this year, because these are the Marines coming online. Tech Lab gonna have the double pump between the stim pack and the combat shield between 2 of these racks. Now for GLG, he can add a few more Marauders into the mix to play the front line, and in case of Viole, does go for a heavier mech defense there. For now, yes, he does have 3 Cyclones, and this can be easy pickings here for the Marines if they can go for the push on in critical mass. For now, though, it's all about the calm before the storm. It looks like this is the time of the night where you look outside the window, right, and you hear the thunder suddenly crackle. You know something is coming, and you know it's gonna be scary. But it's not here yet. So Viole, he will take all these opportunities to at the very least get that third up and running here. What else is gonna be in the cards, perhaps? Reactors onto these racks. We can already see that we have GLG slowly but surely running away with it on the supply side so far. He's been on point with his supply depots. He's getting the units that he wants. And with Twin Medivacs, he can actually go for a two-prong attack with a drop or two. And Eternal Empire is a great map for it. Here on the sides, on the east and the north side of Viole's base, really good pathways there. But for Viole, he's patrolling these cyclones, making sure that at the very least he will see where the Medivac is coming from. And for now, it's time for upgrades. It's all about the +1 so far. Viole looking to the side to get those engineering base up and running a little earlier. And in the meantime, he does get his upgrades up and running here with that stim pack. But for now, I just pressed something and we're good to go. We are good to go again. Whoops about that. A few hotkeys here and there, guys. But besides that, we are back into the game. So, Siege Tank can be here. There we go, have the scan. And GLG right now is on the warpath. He's gotten his upgrades up and running. He's looking to be good to go. But for now, he will be a little bit down on that +1/+1 side. We'll see though if these siege tanks can get some damage done. Yes, they do! Onto that high ground. And for now, GLG has to stay on the low ground there instead. Scan gonna be going online at the same time. Getting that vision. Interference Matrix though onto the siege tanks. Really well placed there. But the anti-armor is even better. This just gets everyone here onto the bulk of GLG. And Viole taking this opportunity to do desolating damage so far. But still, the numbers are not in favor for Viole. He bails himself out there with a huge anti-armor, but he loses the Raven along the way. And this is now GLG on the warpath yet again. He's looking for the push, but the siege tanks are now back online. And it just goes to show both sides doing everything they can to give them the advantage in a fight like that. So pretty good, solid clashes so far. And I like that there from both sides. Interference Matrix, good shutdown on the siege tanks. But Viole doing one better with the anti-armor, allowing him to stay in that fight. Army count now gonna get even. +1s are there as well. Third base up and running here for both sides at the same time. So it really goes to show that this is a pretty evenly matched game. As now our Viole is looking ever so bigger here for Anakti Bakuko. Viole in the meantime, still adding in a good mix of units here and there. He keeps a tech lab onto the factory, so it's not the double pump Widow Mines whatsoever. Vikings though gonna be into the field as well. Anti-air gonna be in effect. But it's interesting that Viole is getting this much anti-air so far, because he doesn't really need it per se, since we only still see the counter Vikings here from the side of Anakni Bakuko. Sure, he will be able to shut down Medivacs very quickly, and I do believe that's what he wants to do with all of these Vikings, but he has to make sure that he doesn't go past the tipping point. You don't want to get too much Vikings, because even though they're amazing in the air, they're kind of trash on the ground, and they're not going to be the best thing against a Viole coming your way. But, in any case, it feels like it's all about sensor towers right now. We see a Venn diagram on both sides, and GLG is at the very least respecting his opponent. Not really going for the push here. Viole in the meantime, still the same thing. And yeah, it has turned into more of that macro game again. A little bit of the silence of the lambs here. A little bit of the silence into this game. And this is what part where we just basically look into what's been happening so far. We have seen GLG get a better army, but Viole has been a lot more effective on the macro. And when you're on that macro, you need to bail yourself out a lot more than usual. So for Viole, he did that a while ago with the anti-armor. The question is can he do it again? For now though, since he's playing that long-term game, it's paying off in dividends. He has a bigger army right now. It's looking very, very scary here for Viole. But GLG, not a slouch himself, can have a good force, looking to march, looking to run, and looking to battle against his opponents. But it feels like though here for Viole, he does have the advantage of timing. He's gonna get his +2 out in the bot very, very soon. The only problem here for him going onto the outskirts of his base is his units are not bunched together. They are not ready to go for one big push. They're not gonna have that one big fight. So for GLG right now, if he is able to get a better position, he might be able to get a few picks here and there for free. And speaking for that one, here we go with the Brawl. The +2 showing on up on the screen. But besides that, it's still gonna be GLG cleaning up house with the Marauders out in front and the stimp back for good measure. How are we seeing it again, guys? Macro versus micro. Is it gonna be the same conundrum yet again? As here we go right now with the rocks gonna get blown up. The rocks, oh, the humanity getting hampered there. And Viole right now gonna get caught out with another Marine Squadron. You can really see that for GLG. He's paying a lot more attention to the front lines here because Viole is just allowing these Marines to shoot whoever the hell they want without stimp back. And in the end, it's still GLG cleaning up house in any scanning force that Viole wants to send. So for now, map control still in favor of our purple Saren. And this is just GLG roaming around the map to look for a few targets here and there. He wants to intercept any kind of strike force, and he's doing it so far with a few Marines and the Marauder's 2 boots. For now, though, this is a distraction instead. Marine will go down, and the Marauder is the lone survivor there. It seems like he's gonna have a good story to tell the boys later on, but unfortunately, all the boys are gone already. And Naktibukuko is looking for the attack. He's coming closer and closer to this next base. And that is going to be pure and utter domination here if the creeping barrage is able to set up just like pure PC and their amazing rigs. But as we say that, +1 going to be online. Good luck on here for Viole. Allows him to back on the way, but the siege tanks still get the damage on. And apparently, GLG sacrificing these siege tanks for free, but Viole is losing out a lot in the front as well. The shock cannon is bringing in the damage that they need. Splash damage there. But at the same time, where is the support? Seems like GLG not going to go for it. Wanting to go for the push ball instead, avoiding the siege tanks. Understanding for himself that the bio ball is a lot more important there. It seems like both sides is dissuading one another with armaments from the other side. Fernando, it's still control here for GLG. He has been able to keep his army in a good spot, and he's gonna go for the concave here, but the siege tanks are set up. This is a big force here from Viole so far, and the quality just even better. The siege tanks able to tear apart the marine ball there, and goodbye to a good chunk of the army courtesy of GLG. And now for Viole, he's even hunting those medevacs there. It's a good time now to attack. It's a good time to go on the offensive. And it's better late than never, right? That's what macro is all about. So we'll see if Viole can actually wrap things up here. Go for a fight that he will like. Go for a fight that will be advantageous for him. Especially if he gets the siege tanks offensive ready to go. But GLG here looking to play it smart instead. Going over to the east side instead. And at the very least, he wants to attack that natural. So opportunity at its finest. But there we go again with the siege tank set up. It has gotten 6 kills so far, but the Stimpaks allowed them to get run on over instead. Marines right now trying to go for the brawl yet again. Here we go with the setup from Viole. And the question is, how will Viole respond? He's sending the ground, he's killing the air, and he's tearing everything apart yet again. Medevacs do go down. Viole gonna get reinforcements still all the way in the base. But the problem there is his army is just looking to be a pittance compared to his opponents. +3 also ready to go, and this is just macro at its finest here from Viole. Really goes to show that he is trying his best, trying his luck to improve, but at the same time, it has been GLG able to turn it around, and now the upgrade department has gone in his favor. Personally, I do believe in any other situation, you want to get that plus armor first when you know your opponent is going for many Marines. But if you're doing the same thing, of course you have that +1 to kill things a little quicker. So for now, it really will just be all about how Viole sets up these siege tanks. He has been able to bail himself out with that kind of play for quite a while. And since he has that army lead because of the 200-200 marker for both sides, he might be able to win in a more direct combat. But GLG, as we said, has that +3. And for now, he's just hunting around to see what's going to be going on. There we go, though, with the brawl into the front line. Shock cannon is going to be singing on in it again. But the plant attack fortress is actually getting some free hits here onto the siege tanks. And for now, Viole might get caught in a rock and hard place situation. These Vikings up in the air doing absolutely nothing. And this is going to be time right now for Viole to turn around. But GLG with the push, with the big army here, looking to destroy everything on the ground. And that will be everything getting torn apart yet again. Vikings, though, in the meantime, cleaning up the air. And it really feels like the Red Cross will be mad against Viole there. But GLG winning out that fight so very easily. This is why you don't want to have too many of those Vikings. And we have seen a critical mass here from Viole go past that marker. For now, this is GLG in a good spot. 100 to 82 army. But with most of them Vikings up in the air, good opportunity here for Anakti Bakuko to actually go for the killing blow along the way. It's time to go for the push. Marines right now with the step back on. +2 gonna be going online as well here for Anakti Bakuko on the siege tank side. And here we go with the setup yet again. Now Viole gonna be landing these Vikings down desperately, but you know that this is gonna be absolute pain, absolute pleasure though for GLG. And this is just cleaning up house on the ground. GLG able to steal the upgrade lead, able to use his composition a little better. And in terms of unit picks, I like GLG's a lot better than the side of Viole. But Viole, at the very least, he's been trying out a few things here and there, dropping these Marines into the fray. The siege tanks do get some flash damage on each other, but at the same time, it seems like these numbers are not mattering whatsoever. 100 to 54. Viole absolutely desperate to try and reinforce, but these Marines come out of the racks just to die. And you can see their corpses just getting bounced around to begin with. Third base now has fallen on down. Here we go with more and more from GLG. And this is just going to be an extinction rate at its finest. Our purple Terran in complete control. And all he needs to do right now is just tip off one more domino. Make sure that he can get the victory in a decisive clash. And he can make it happen. High ground though set up here for Viole. And for now, it's siege tanks yet again. Vikings though onto the high ground. There we go with the shotguns again. And the SCP's trying to prepare the planetary fortress desperately to try and defend things as much as possible. But in the end, it doesn't matter. GG is called. GLG will take the first victory. And it seems like it was just all about that army getting that value at its finest, able to surprise to get that speed on with the macro department, gets the upgrades in time, and it was just GLG with map control the whole freaking time. And it really felt like for Viole, it was a struggle to go onto the outskirts of any part of his base, and even though he was able to out-expand his opponent for a little bit, then it still didn't work out because GLG realizing situation, expanding on his own, getting the income that he wants, stopping whatever Viole wanted to do, catching out that big army was absolutely huge. And it really just goes to show again that that is just experience at work. GLG will take that first victory, and we'll be getting into game number 2 in just a bit, guys. So there you have it. That is game number 2. Game number 1 rather. And that is going to be a victory there for eXoGLG. Very well played indeed. Really going to show that he is here to win. And he has had some really good showing so far into our tournaments besides Battle Royales, besides Quarantine, and all the like. Has been a good run for him. And this might be the first step here for Quarantine number 5. Now, you guys are asking, why is Quarantine like this? We're experimenting with a few formats here and there. This might be good, especially when Quarantine is done, when we're a lot more normal. This might allow you guys to play your games on your own time. So it's more of an experiment in a way, and hopefully it pans out well. And we always appreciate feedback. Anything you guys want to tell us will be much appreciated. But speaking of appreciation, though, we are going to be getting into game number 2. Pillars of Gold will be next on the list, and it's still going to be macro focus. We'll find out, though, if anything funky is going to be happening. eXoGLG, though, is up by 1 so far. Question is, can he wrap things up here, or will we see a game number 3? So many exciting configurations here in the Quarantine Tournament number 5, and I can't wait. This, of course, though, is sponsored by Block 101 as well as our amazing PC sponsor, Pure PC, who is adding on that keyboard prize to the gold to diamond bracket, as you can see here. But you know what else is gonna be grand and gold is our Master Plus bracket matches later on. We'll have 2 amazing ones for you all later on into the nights. As we said before, though, we'll breeze on through gold to diamond first and look to enjoy what we can get. But for now, it's time to get into our next game. It's time to get into Pillars of Gold, and we'll see if Anak ni Bakuko can wrap things up, or will Viole be able to force out the game number 3. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are back into another Quarantined Tournament number 5 matchup. Very excited for this one. Really goes to show that this is gonna be a pretty fun one, to say the least. And you know, the question is, though, will we see game number 3, or will we see GLG wrap things up along the way? Introducing first, here on the top right of, well, Pillars of Gold LE, it is our purple Terran, 1 map ahead, looking to just make a statement. It's eXoGLG. And his opponent, here on the bottom left instead, he's down by 1, but maybe, just maybe, something interesting can happen. Something can be turned around here by our Blue Saren. He had some really good ideas a while ago. With the macro yet again, we see that as a common element in the gold to diamond brackets. It's all about that macro, trying to focus that one, trying to be as best as you can, but then get surprised by the amount of micro, the amount of control your opponent can have. But in any case, this is our Blue Terran here. It's Viole. So here we go again, guys. And of course, we start things standard. Nothing cheesy as of yet by the 1 minute mark. And in that last game, gotta say, could have gone either way, but Viole just pushing forward when he couldn't really take control of the setup that he wants. Didn't find the army there, gonna get backstabbed along the way. Losing too many things on the ground. And in the end, the Vikings just too much supply there. Making sure that Anakti Bakuko had the better army overall. For now though, it is gonna be that one base Rax factory approach here from the side of GLG, as it seems like for Viole, he's pretending right now. He's pretending that the supply depot is gonna be going up. He's hurting it with his own drill, trying to make sure that his opponent is keeping an eye out along the way. And it does feel like it's a distraction here from Viole, because he's gonna go for the Reaper right here. Gonna have that factory as well at the same time. So it's a one base setup yet again. More about the early aggression, but Anakti Bakuko has had enough of this SCV. And we'll get the shutdown there along the way. PVT action though yet again, and it's time right now for the Reaper to come on by. 1-1-1 setup though is going to be online here for Viole by the 2.5 minute mark. So he's starting off that starport. Pretty interesting here. Really goes to show that this might be Viole looking to play some surprising aggression out of nowhere. He can go for, of course, the medevac drops. Might be able to get even Banshee Cloak to surprise his opponents. But for now though, Reaper is going to be into the fray. And he might want to respond against this Reaper here from Anakti Bakuko. The best thing Viole can do right now is stop this Reaper from coming up the ramp. And does he see the starport? Yes, he does. So he knows that 1-1-1 is set up. Question is, how will he defend? He's going for his own command center though, first and foremost. And I'd love to see him get a Cyclone just in case there's something amiss along the way. Micro though there. And we see GLG trying to use the steam vents to, at the very least, find a pick over 2, but Viole doesn't care. He pushes on forward with the Hellion with the Reapers, and he is good to go on defensive here. A far cry from what we saw in the last game, but at the very least, this is Viole right now deciding to play the natural game instead. But there we go with the Hellion, gonna be hampered though by the Pistol Euros, and Viole might be able to get on the inside here. No, he doesn't. Not at the right time. Cluster Bomb still gonna get thrown on out. There we go, a leap on forward, and the Hellion with 2 HP and a Dream, but that Reaper the duo gonna be able to at the very least clean up the Hellion Stair, and now it's gonna be GLG going for the pull. His units aren't ready yet, and this is just Viole bringing in more and more of these Reapers. For now, it feels like the shoe is on the other foot. We saw it a while ago here from GLG, the multiple Reaper and the Hellion gameplay, and this time Viole is saying, hey, if you're gonna do that, I can do one better, I can do it better, and I can harass you into impunity. It's all about micro right now from Viole, and he's proving that he's not all bark. He is also biting his opponent as much as possible. Cluster Bomb's gonna get thrown up into the wind. Cyclone is there though, looking for the lock-on. Question is, can Viole at the very least get rid of the Maglock acceleration? Not gonna happen, but now finally Viole has been able to burst on through. He's looking for the push. One Hellion will go down though, and there we go with the Reaper trying to get the hell away. SCV is gonna get pulled yet again. Viole right now losing out on that army, but the damage has been done. GLG is struggling here. 16 workers, 7 army compared to 24 on 13. And now this might just be the icing on the cake. Will Viole actually pull this off? Will we see Banshee Cloak be enough to stop the tracks of this match? For now though, at the very least, we still see a Reaper and a Cyclone looking to basically play in a way to be a backup plan. And you know, that is us. And that is just that. Here we go though with the Marines right now hampering this Banshee. They see that it is going to be some anti-air along the way. Unfortunately, though, for the side of GLG, he doesn't have the engineering bay. And Cloaking Field is ready to go. It's time to expose. And it's time, guys, to go Ghost and go invisible. No scan online as well here for GLG. Free shots courtesy of Banshee. And GG is called. Banshee Cloak is back. He gets the win. True aggression. And Viole will tie things up in a 5-minute affair. I love the play. And that was really solid there from Viole. He realized that he could punish his opponent. He went for the early gamble, and even though GLG saw that that was a 1-1-1 setup, he didn't really respect it in the way. He continued on building his second command center. He didn't build too many units there to try and defend, and in the end, it cost him because it was just such a good push there from the Reapers. Good control there from Viole so far. And now we are going to be getting into a game number 3, which is going to be very interesting because we saw a while ago a complete reversal of what happened game number 1. The roles were reversed. We had Viole on the macro, and then GLG trying to play the micro, trying to play aggression. And then on the second map, it happened the other way. And it seems like the one who's going to the macro first is getting caught out by the one with the aggression. But in the case of Eternal Empire, it was more of that catch-up game going strong there for GLG. So, into our next map, it might be, it might be finally the answer to our question. We've been trying to figure out of how the play is between both sides, how their biases, how they want to play this game, and it feels like the next map will be perfectly suited for it. But, as we said before, Eternal Empire has gone in the way of eXoGLG. Pillars of Gold also going to need the same thing. So what is left on the list? What is a good macro map to play into the ladder? Well, from the deserts, we go into the cold, and we are going to be getting into Ice and Chrome LE next. Highly unfortunate right there, though, for GLG. Just didn't have that energy for the scan whatsoever. I do believe he dropped down that mule, and with Banshee Cloak online, those Marines cannot shoot that cloaked unit whatsoever. He knew he messed up there. He knew that was the crux of his defense falling on the parts, and now he has one more chance to try and turn things around. But my mistake there, it's not eXoGLG, it is Viole on to that second map. So Ice and Chrome gonna be the decider here. Who will take it, guys? Who will be the one to move on into round number 2? Will it be eXoGLG? Will it be Viole? Let's find out as we get into the game. So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and here we are into our third game in this best of 3. Both sides right now, all tied up, 1 apiece. The question is, who will be the one moving on to round number 2? Seems like both of these players are at each other's throats. They know exactly what to do against one another, and they know how to play their faction well, especially in a mirror matchup. So introducing first, here on the bottom left, the man who could not see, was blinded by the lights, blinded by invincibility, and now, maybe just maybe, he's gotten his prescription for some glasses, and he is good to go into this matchup. It is our purple Terran who won game number 1. It is Anak ni Bakugo, or eXoGLG. And his opponents, here on the top right, that name is a misnomer, and his play is also one to keep an eye out for. Surprising everyone, with Banshee Cloak actually working in the game, it is our top right Terran winning game number 2, making sure everything is all tied up. It is Viole. So here we go again. Last map, decider between Anak ni Bakugo and Viole. GLG and Viole looking to duel in this TVT. Question is, though, who will be the one to move on in? We saw a while ago some good Reaper control courtesy of Viole. Will we see it again, though, on the early side? Anak ni Bakugo in the meantime looking to set up his wall, but Viole gets in the way! And this is a conference that has gone wrong. It's like 2 businessmen hitting each other with suits. And now, since Anak ni Bakugo got hit first, he has to run on away there because of that HP department. And he will be, at the very least, tagging down his partner. Says, this is not just real life. This is also wrestling along the way. And Anak ni Bakugo controlling 2 of these SCVs to at the very least stop the scout there from Viole. Now though, we are gonna see the factory here yet again. 1-1 setup onto the 1 base from both sides. And now we see the respect here on both fronts. No greedy play, nor early second. They make sure that they have everything they need and more to defend, everything they need to try and attack their opponents. And at the very least, all about getting maximum value of your early game antics. Still though, Ice and Chrome LE, we talked about this multiple times. Second base, very easy to take. Your third base, a few decisions here and there. Usually to get that safer third, and then you go for the unsafe third as your fourth. But I have seen players who like to play the aggression or play the passive, kind of creep on back here for their fourth. Go for the aggressive play, just really skate all the way, taking this one as well. It's really just all about your playstyle, all about how you want to set up. And for now, we see the Reapers yet again. We're getting multiple Reapers here from both sides. Really goes to show that it has been a part of the show to play more than 1 Reaper, to try and play the micro game strong. But in this game though, We got Anakti Bakuko sticking on one Reaper so far. He's going for the reactor tech instead. So this should be earlier Marines into the fray. Starport going to be going online as well. There is going to be a second base also being in production. And this is GLG taking this opportunity to look to future-proof, to look to have the answers for upcoming fights. Although these are Marines, good to go. Tech Lab gonna be stapled on as well. And for the time being, a Liberator here from Viole. So he's looking to harass early on into the middle line. At the very least, go for a few pokes here and there and bother his mode as much as possible. And in a case like this, with the orbital command up online, it is gonna be maximum mule value as much as possible. But here comes GLG, hitting the SCV where it hurts. Counter Reaper though into the fray here from Viole, but it doesn't matter because that initial SCV has gone down. And behind the middle line right now, it's all about those pokes. Can we see Anakti Bakuko run away with this one? He's trying to get the hell out of there, but he will get caught with his pants down, caught with his Reaper in the corner. And with scan online, this is gonna allow Viole to understand exactly what's going on in the opponent's base. In any case though, finally fires are looking to burn up the Crystal Knights tonight here with the Reapers and the Hellions. Looking at the very least to move on over to the southwest side of this map. Viole though, in the meantime, going out in front with those Hellions. You are gonna see multiple racks here from Anakti Bakuko. The question is, does he have enough for defense? Because these are Reapers and these are Hellions. They can go for the shove and they can go for the push. That's apparently the Marines are such a good number. And even though we see this initial strike force there from Viole come close to the siege tank, it doesn't pan out whatsoever. Good damage there, especially from the siege tank, especially from the Marines. And they keep each other alive along the way. For now though, time is ticking. Time for command centers to go online. Raven gonna be there as well as the siege tank. And it is gonna become your standard TVT fan for yet again. So it feels like our Gold to Diamond players are quite cookie cutter in what they want to do. They do want to play their builds, they do want to show how much they improved, and this has allowed them to get through the ladder anyway, so it really is what it is. But it's time right now for a few pokes here and there. We hear the Liberator poking against the middle line and has gotten 6 kills so far. The Refinery running out of members there, but the Cyclone gets the lock on, gets that K-Down in response, so it goes to show that both sides having an answer for one another yet again. Raven though into the field, and this is gonna be GLG looking to scout around with that detection at the same time. Now though, it's all about that setup yet again. 3-1-1. This Rax push gonna be scary here from Viole if he's able to time it right. For the time being, the plate's gonna get shattered on, and if we do see GLG playing a more standard, a more subtle game compared to his opponents. Seems like though that the plan of attack here for Anakti Bakuko is overwhelm his opponent with some numbers. He's having a good number of Marines pumped out because of that reactor tech. And with Stimpack going online, I believe very soon, then he can go for a really good push or a drop if need be. For now though, here we go again. Some SCVs gonna get caught on the northeast side, and we're seeing shades of the previous match that we got here. All about that harassment, all about making sure that your opponent is always on his toes, and it's very tiring to play StarCraft. It's very taxing to try and do everything you can and more. And it does feel like when you're getting harassed like that, it's just your opponent saying, hey, pay attention to this, so I will have space to actually do anything else. In essence though, both sides just waiting for each other to make that initial move. It does feel like though they're looking to keep an eye out on their timings, but with the step back going online very soon here for GLG, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go on the offensive instead. This is a number of units coming his way. He's also looking for a third along the way. But it really goes to show that here for GLG, he understands now when he has that map control, and he's trying to do all he can and more. In any case though, Stimpack will be online for Viole soon, and Anakti Bakuko or GLG gonna be following suit very nearly. 7.5 minutes have elapsed. Stimpack is online and ready to go. We'll find out how this pan out because the +1/+1 being upgraded here by Anakti Bakuko. Question is though, will he have enough of these Marines to actually keep an eye out and use the advantage there, or will it be a pittance compared to the swarm? For now, scanning around, looking to understand exactly how many bases are there here for the other Dominion. High ground right now spotted by the Medivacs, SCP caught out there by lock-on. But now, Nakni Bakuko sticking on the low ground so far. Lodo gonna be into play here. We're going to drop down onto the auto turret, and the siege tank getting lifted on up. It's a power drop here, courtesy of Marines. And I love how GLG just styled on his opponent there. Siege tanks, though, all the way on the west side. They're making sure that they cover off any kind of retreats, any kind of advantage. And this is just GLG making a very, very decisive doom drop so far. He brings everything to the table, and he's getting so much value here. There we go again, though, with the siege tanks. Not all of them are set up. Viole, in the meantime, having some Vikings along the way, but is struggling to go for the chase, and that is that for that attack for now. Viole cannot answer back whatsoever against these drop plays. That's Nakni Bakuko is running so far, and now it's time to play it a lot more stable. Move into the front line, catch out an army mid-transition, and there we go with the shots, but apparently it's Viole there catching out his opponent by mistake, and with a mistake there. It really goes to show that anything can happen. Tempo can completely change. And for now, Viole able to take the army lead yet again. So this is now going to be a push here from our Blue Terra. We've seen the bailout play though before on Eternal Empire. Question is, will we see the same kind of case here on Ice and Chrome? Fight though. Not gonna be over yet. +1 now. Good to go here for the side of Nakni Bakuko. And he is set up with that siege tank yet again. Here we go with Marines right now. Seeing the funnel of siege tanks. And goodbye to any kind of their traction control whatsoever. Because these are the Marines going for the push. +1 making a difference so far. And these are the Marines right now just going for the start step action. It's a long way to the other side. But they are killing everything they can and more. This seems like to be an atomic wrangling so far. And now GLG is just one push away from potential victory and moving over to round number 2, but the fight isn't over yet. That siege tank on the high ground, dissuading the push yet again, saying, no sir, you're not getting in here whatsoever. And it feels like finally the tempo of this game has picked up to an interesting degree. But Viole now gonna go for third base. He knows his opponent is gonna be on the attack, and he's still gonna be looking to use that economy to, at the very least, get a third base up and running. Scan gonna be there, but sees absolutely nothing. And now these are the medevacts getting caught. Viole had one of them fully equipped with Marines and an SCV, I believe. And this one gonna have the same kind of situation, but Viole losing that one for free. Second one might be lost as well. Good circumbound blades from the side of the Blue Terran. But with all of those forces right now not in the front line, this is easy pickings here for GLG, and this might be game, set, and match. The Vikings are going to be on the low ground. There we go, the siege tank setting on up yet again. Natural right now, going to get forced to pull those SCVs away from the lines, but it's just not enough. And GLG is able to take control of this game, able to take the opportunity, and I do believe this is game, set, and match. Unless we see this meta backdrop actually accomplish anything, it's going to be pretty interesting to say the least. There we have Marines and SCVs looking to fight with one another, but no, GG is called. That is victory. And we do see GLG move on into round number 2 as well. So there you go, guys. Another great series. Terran versus Terran, though, in that matchup, and in the end it's still again experience looking to triumph, looking to trump, and it was a great ride though from Viole. I gotta commend everything he did, especially on how he changed things up every single map. But in the end they're a little too greedy on that third. They didn't have anything to try and defend any kind of push, and losing that one medevac as well, big game changer. He needed all the units he could, and in the end he couldn't, so it kind of just falls apart for them. And let's look into, well, a recap of our scores here. There you go, guys. eXoGLG taking maps number 1 and 3. Viole in the meantime splitting that one up in half. But a win is a win, and our match points goes over to GLG. Gold to diamond, only a single elimination. So hopefully we see the players eliminated so far into our next iteration. But this has been a pretty solid one so far, and we'll be getting into our next game in a slightly longer break. We'll have to set that one up. But don't forget, guys, Quarantine Tournament number 5 is brought to you by Pure PC and Block 101, and presented to you by DLS Missile, Daks PH, and IS Buhai's production. We will be right back for another game into the Gold to Diamond bracket. Stay tuned, stick around. This is Quarantine Tournament number 5, Round 1 broadcast on the month of September, Tournament Frenzy.